Hey, what's up, y'all? It's Bruce Hill, New Skills, New You. Day 3 check in for the 90-day sprint. And, oh man, I almost forgot to read last night. And I was just doing a mental review, which is why you have checklists. I was like, all right, what it? So I was going through my notebook. Shout out to the composition piece. And I was like, oh man, I didn't read today. So I stopped and read. I'm reading The Year of Yes by Shonda Rhimes. Phenomenal writer. And it's amusing to me that all the success she has on TV as a writer, she hates speaking in public. So I'm sure there's a message there somewhere. She did it anyway. Check out her speech to Dartmouth in, was it 2014? Phenomenal. I'm also reading The Five Levels of Leadership by John Maxwell. Just working on better Bruce. That's what they say, right? One new skill will change your life. All right, so check in. The checklist helped me make sure I did my 3 items, right? 30 minutes of exercise, 30 minutes of reading, reach out to 50 people a day. I almost didn't do that. I don't know what happened, hit a wall. And I think it's the last 30 days that are catching up with me. So it's good that I'm documenting the process. It's a form of accountability. I'd rather not come on here, because I'm going to make the video, but I'd rather not come on here and be like, well, I didn't do X, I didn't do Y, I didn't do Z. I want to say I did it, kicking and screaming, but I did it. So what I did was I sent emails to 3 separate lists with the value add, right? How can I help you? Something educational. And open rate is actually pretty good. Response rate's pretty low. Um, I think the next skill I need to learn is sales copy and copywriting. This morning, so that brings us to, what's today? 27th September. I woke up late and I don't have, oh, sidebar. 8 days ago, I left my phone in a lift, or at least I assume I did. It was in my bag and it's not in my bag. Who knows? So I haven't had a cell phone for 8 days. And I'm actually doing okay. The one thing that I miss is having an alarm. Other than that, I've got in touch with everyone I need to. I can order lifts from the laptop. Um, I can call people from Google Voice. It hasn't been too terrible. Now this is someone who doesn't have kids, so maybe that would change some things. But I am what I am. Oh, but I did order a new phone, so 14 days without a phone. I think it'll be here towards the end of the week. Um, I don't recommend it. I don't recommend it. So back to today. I woke up crazy late. I must have slept almost 9 hours. I think these workouts are getting to me because even with the nap yesterday, I still slept 9 hours last night, and I didn't want to get up, but the indication is I leave the window open so the sunlight comes in, and I know if the sunlight's coming in, I'm like, it's time to get up. So I get up. I have my first 2 meetings of the day. Release and restore in mornings, phenomenal. Just part of the meditation, I promise, right? And then team meeting, and then I was like, oh, today's not Wednesday. I don't have a 9 o'clock. I've got an hour before my next meeting. Let me go to the gym. So I go hop on a treadmill, 7% incline, and I keep going up an increment, a tenth of a mile. It's 3.4 miles per hour for 30 minutes. If that doesn't have you break a sweat, you are probably Olympic level because that gets me every time. And so workout check. Oh, reading. I did that earlier. Check. I've got one more chapter I want to read before I call it a day. Meditation check. And then let's see here. This counts as the YouTube video. Check. In the morning meditation, 50 new contacts. Yes, I got to make sure I stick on that today. And what's going to be challenging for you as the watcher, which thanks for tapping in, and challenging for me, it's going to get real repetitive real fast. And I believe this is where people have difficulty achieving higher levels of success because it gets kind of boring. After a while, it gets kind of boring because you're just doing the same thing over and over and over again. It builds momentum. I think John Maxwell calls it Big Mo. It builds momentum and has a compound effect. Shout out to Darren Hardy. But those consistent repetitions are what creates the success. I was talking to my mentee last night. They were a little frustrated. They're like, man, I emailed 78 realtors today. I didn't get a lot of responses. And I was like, well, how many did you do yesterday? They're like, oh, this is all of them. So, okay, well, how many are you going to do tomorrow? And how many are you going to do the day after that until it works? If you're asking the right people the right questions, ooh, there's a training on that. Asking better questions. Right now, it's not recorded. It's live. I'll leave a link in the bio. If asking better questions will help you hear yes more often, tap in. So I'm like, asking better questions goes both ways. Towards your client, figuring out what they need, figuring out what their problems are, what their goals are. But you can ask yourself questions as well. Hey, is what I'm doing not working? Or is it just not working yet? So right now, I just feel sore from working out. I feel tired. I'm hungry all the time. But it's only been 3 days, right? So I don't expect to have this miraculous transformation overnight. In fact, I'd be more surprised if it happened overnight. But I do expect consistent efforts to achieve the results I desire, physically, mentally, financially, right? And that's the encouragement for putting up these videos. I just want to remind you all that success doesn't happen overnight. It happens over and over again. It happens over time. Come back to me. I'll have something better. You only see it overnight after those months of work, years of work. And I firmly believe, I really should clip this part, that it's not actually the number of hours necessarily that you work on something. It's the number of repetitions you get in. Stay with me. So Eric Anderson, a scientist, one of the soft scientists maybe, he said that it takes 10,000 hours, or that was his hypothesis, it takes 10,000 hours to achieve mastery. Some of you may have heard that. It was made popular by Malcolm Gladwell in his book, The Outliers. And I have a fundamental disagreement with that hypothesis. If you take 10,000 hours to go a marathon distance, right, 26.2 miles, no one's going to clap for you. I'm sure that we've probably accidentally done that over the past year or 2 years, right? Just walk into our car, walk in the mall. I told him my age there. Anybody go to malls anymore? Just walking around. So it's not the hours. You can't say, oh, I'm a marathoner. I done one marathon in the last 10,000 hours. That's not really an accomplishment. That's not strenuous. It's not challenging. It's certainly not going to win any records. Is there a record for the slowest marathon? I don't know. So I said, okay, so time may be a limiting factor, but it's not the deciding factor. I believe it's the repetitions. It'd be much, much more impressive if you did 100 marathons in 100 days. Now, and you do the math on that, that might be 500, 1,000 hours. Well, if you manage to pull that off, I'm pretty confident that's going to be in the record books, towards the top, if not number one, towards the top. Most marathons in the least amount of time. So while it obviously takes time to go 26.2 miles, it's not the time that gets you the results. It's how many repetitions you can squeeze in during that time. So let's use this example. Let's say you're going golfing. Any golfers follow me? And you do 18 rounds of golf, or excuse me, 18 holes, and it takes you 8 hours. You're really bad, right? That's me. And then the other guy does 18 in 4 hours. He's moving on a pretty good pace, right? Maybe there's a group in front of him slowing him down. And so She gets to the end of 18 holes. She says, "Oh, it's been 4 hours." She's like, "I'm gonna play it backwards." So now plays backwards. Another 4 hours. She's done 36 holes in 4 hours, or excuse me, in 8 hours. 36 holes, 8 hours, and the gentleman has done 18 holes in 8 hours. Which one has had more practice? And that's where I don't like measuring things in hours. You get paid off results, not hours. Especially as an entrepreneur. You don't think about your job, right? There's a project. Hey, we need you to write some code. If you take a week to write the code or 3 weeks, you still have the same amount of code. Maybe it's a little better week over week, maybe, but there's a break even point where more time doesn't improve the quality of your code. Now, this is a tough one for folks to accept in the workplace because they're like, oh, well, I get paid more if I take longer. But as a freelancer, as an entrepreneur, as a small business owner, you get paid the same. If your job is to return these lines of code that accomplish this task, the faster you can get it done, the faster you can get paid, and you can move on to the next client. So there is a competitive advantage for quality and speed. So let's go back to our golfers. They both golfed the same amount of time, the duration, but the number of holes that they've accomplished is a 2x difference. If they keep at that same pace, it's very easy to decide, hey, somebody who can get 18 holes done in 4 hours is going to outpace skill-wise someone who takes 8 hours to do 18 holes. So one of the things I want you to focus on is how many repetitions can I get in today? That's why it's 50 new prospects every day. Because I know the more people I ask for their business, I say, hey, you have this problem, I can solve it, the more chances I get to hear yes. I'm no longer operating on a function of time. That's not my deciding factor. Myron Golden says, I want you to achieve success sooner so you can enjoy it longer. I don't want you 70, 80, 90 talking about, man, I made my first million. Like what Grant Cardone says. He says that if you're making $50,000 a year, in 20 years, you'll have made $1 million. Your gross revenues are going to be $1 million. He's like, that's not the point. The point is how quickly can you get to $1 million? So what am I getting at? Where is this all going? What are you talking about, Bruce? The challenge is that we put in the repetitions and we don't see the results right away. But as we put in the repetitions, their results are multiplied by a consistency and duration of our repetitions. So more repetitions over more time equals more results. That's the formula. All right, got to hop in a meeting. Oh, man. I'm Bruce Hill, New Skills, New You. See y'all tomorrow.